Good evening. The Dolores County Broadcasting Network presents the DCTV 4-H Evening News Program for Wednesday, March 8, 2017. Camera people, Brendan. Video engineer and producer, Dan. Sound engineer, Edward. Teleprompter and prompter, Myra. News anchors, Devlin and Daniel. Meteorologist, Nicholas. And this is your news director, Edward. And now the news.
Good afternoon and welcome to the DCTV 4-H News and Weather Program. Help keep our kids' news show on the air by becoming a sponsor. To buy a sponsorship, just call 970-677-4119. Hello, I'm Devlin, and the following story is from the Environmental Education for Kids webpage. The quagga mussel. Homeland and arrival date quagga mussels are native to the Caspian Sea drainage area in Eurasia. They are most likely arrived as stowaways in the ballast water of ocean-going ships. They were discovered in the Great Lakes region in September 1989. Quaggas like silty or sandy lake bottoms. They can live in waters ranging from warm and shallow to deep and cold. They are also able to tolerate somewhat salty water. The quagga mussel feeds all year, even in winter when its cousin, the zebra mussel, is dormant. So far in Wisconsin, the quagga has been found only in Lake Michigan waters, but because they prefer silt and sand-bottom lakes, quagga mussels may be able to successfully invade inland lakes. They were recently discovered in Arizona. These species could cost taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and close down access to state waters for recreation and commercial opportunities. They clog water intake pipes and filters, reducing water pumping capabilities for power and water establishment plants. Once established, these mussels will change ecosystems and food sources critical to native mussels and species such as salmon and trout. What should I do if I find one? Report online at www.invasivespecies.wa.gov. And this story is from the Cortez Journal. Montezuma Irrigation Company bans boats at Narragansett. Narragansett Reservoir has been closed to all boating to avoid an invasive mussel contamination, according to lake managers. The permanent boating ban went into effect Tuesday, said Brandon Johnson, general manager of the Montezuma Valley Irrigation Company, which owns the reservoir. We can't afford to get the mussel in there because of the damage they cause to our infrastructure, he said. We had to take drastic action against this threat because we're in the irrigation business, not the recreation business. Mussels from infected lakes, including Lake Powell, can travel in standing water of boats and contaminate other lakes, clogging pipes, valves, and canals. If they get in there, we can't deliver water to our stockholders. Costs will increase to mitigate them, and they will get into side rolls and pipes, Johnson said. The Narragansett ban is for all boats, motorized and non-motorized, and includes jet skis, fishing boats, rowboats, kayaks, and canoes. Colorado Parks and Wildlife would enforce the ban and issue tickets. When through boating, drain all areas that contain water in the boat and dry it well. And the following story is from the Durango Herald. Arizona geologist publishes book about Montezuma dryland farming. A Tucson geologist has published a book about dryland farming in southwest Colorado with particular emphasis on Montezuma County. John Bezzi has written several books about the geology of the Southwest, but this is his first published work related to agriculture. His new book, The Dove Creek Low Wind Deposited Silt and Dry Farming of the Great Sage Plain, Colorado, is the result of 50 years of on and off research into the history of the region's unique soil and the ways different cultures have used it to grow food even without reliable irrigation. Bezzi hopes to sell the book at Montezuma County locations like the Nota Dene Museum. Loess is a geological term for the spongy wind-deposited soil found all over the southwestern United States. Loess is rich in minerals and it holds moisture very well, he said. For those reasons, dryland farmers like it, and even the people who lived in the ruins you can see on the Great Sage Plain were able to make a living because of that soil. The book begins with an introduction to the unique properties of the loess. The ability of the Dove Creek loess to act as a giant sponge, storing large quantities of soil moisture, has made the Great Sage Plain into the greatest expanse of dry farmed land in the Southwest. He hopes to sell the book at the Nota Dene Museum, the Anasazi Heritage Center, and other local culture centers, although right now it's available only by mail. And now here's Daniel for Dumb Criminals.
Police rescue suspect who got stuck in Badger Hole. A simple traffic stop at a Jack-in-the-Box ended with a dramatic car chase and 90-minute rescue operation after a suspect became trapped inside a Badger Hole in Ontario, Oregon. According to Oregon Live, 22-year-old Gregory Moreau and a 35-year-old Jerry Boatman were pulled over by police at around 7:30 a.m. on Thursday. Instead of complying, both suspects allegedly took off in a 2001 Chevrolet Tahoe. The chase was described in the report as short and was cut off early because of safety reasons. Authorities say they knew there were 2 men and a dog in the vehicle. Following a ground and aerial search, Boatman was spotted on foot in the area. Investigators were able to arrest Boatman, who they believe was the passenger in the stolen SUV. During the search, authorities said they found the dog and chased the animal directly into a Badger Hole on public lands managed by the Bureau of Land Management. The dog went into the Badger Hole, and when officers attempted to coax it out, they heard screams from inside. They discovered that Moreau had wiggled his way about 8 feet underground and hid from the police and got stuck. The report said Moreau claimed that he was losing feeling in his arms. Over the next few hours, officers dug Moreau out of the Badger Hole. Without the rescue efforts, it's possible Moreau would have died from exposures, officials said. Boatman is facing a charge of escape to violating his parole, while Moreau is facing a charge for parole violation. Authorities told reporters more charges are likely to be filed. Here's dumb laws and the current weather. Dumb laws in New York. It is illegal to congregate in public with 2 or more people while each wearing a mask or any face covering which disguises your identity. In New York, adultery is still a crime. It is against the law to throw a ball at someone's head for fun. The penalty for jumping off a building is death. New Yorkers cannot dissolve a marriage for inconceivable differences unless they agree to it. A person may not walk around on Sundays with an ice cream cone in his or her pocket. While riding in an elevator, one must talk to no one and fold his hands while looking toward the door. You may not smoke within 100 feet of the entrance to a public building. Slippers are not to be worn after 10 p.m. Citizens may not greet each other by putting one's thumb to the nose and wiggling the fingers. A fine of $25 can be levied for flirting. And now for our current weather report. The current temperature is 61 degrees. The high for today was 65 degrees and the low was 28 degrees. Winds are from 1 to 4 miles per hour from the south. The barometric pressure is 30.20 inches and is falling. The humidity is 18%. There's been no hundredths of an inch of moisture measured by the DCTV weather station for today. Moisture for the month is 8 hundredths of an inch. Now here is our national weather outlook with Nick.
There's a mixed bag of rain and snow in the Pacific Northwest. Most of California is clear. The rest of the West is also clear. There are 2 areas of snow in the north, one in North Dakota and the second in Minnesota. South Texas and Louisiana, along the Texas-Louisiana border, there's rain. Most